Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. And tonight is our legend segment. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we got a true legend from Delray Beach. Legend himself, extraordinaire, carver high athlete, Mr. Herman Baine. Herman, welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here.
Man, listen, man, this is a privilege for me to have you on tonight. You know, for many years, man, you live right next door to my grandmother.
Yeah.
And I had no clue about who you were right next door.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Your father, he must be just didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything. And so, but you know, I'm going to tell you right now, Herman, you were lucky because if I knew about you back then, I'd have been at your house every night talking to you, man.
I'm not sure your cousins knew anything over there.
Exactly. Nobody said nothing to me.
Hey.
So it's amazing what I'm finding out at my age about little Delray Beach and the and the star athletes that's come out of that hometown. It's just amazing. It's just like, you know, when Mr. Pompey started the program back in, I think it was 44.
Back in the 40s.
Yeah, back in the 40s. And, you know, it was always, you see all these great players, you know, and, you know, men that I should see in the community, but I just had no idea.
We did what we had to do, and some of it went on to college and came back, and you just, came back in the neighborhood, and you got involved in sports and so forth, but you never said anything.
Right.
You let the young people have the limelight.
Right.
I had my day. I don't try to relive it.
But you know, for me, I've always been proud of Delray, and a lot of people don't know that. When you leave, I'm quite sure when you went to Kentucky, you went to Kentucky State, right?
Right.
When you went to Kentucky State, you saw some guys who were playing on your team that you knew there's some guys back in Delray could have some of these positions.
They could have had a lot of positions.
Am I right? So.
Right.
And I felt the same way when I went to Tallahassee, but then again, we got a few guys who came after me that I played with a couple of years. Some of them had to leave due to injuries and some academic issues and things like that. But man, I'm always proud to see somebody from the hometown.
It was the same. A lot of guys I recommended up Kentucky State, they went up there, but some of them left and went on to the Army. They went. Worked for the government. They went 2 or 3 years and they stopped. They didn't finish.
Right.
I don't know why. I never asked them. But.
Right. Well, it's that journey. It's that life journey. I think football is such a tough sport. A very disciplined sport where and if you lose the love of it, hey man, it's not an easy thing to do.
Well, it's not easy. People. I said you sit in the stands and cheer.
Mm-hmm.
That person on that field, he has aches and pains long after his career is over.
Long after, right?
But you enjoy it,
You enjoy it. But I'm amazed. A lot of my buddies who's going to watch this show tonight, who attended Atlantic High School with me. Matter of fact, let me give a quick shout out to the class of 1977 that we just celebrated our 45th anniversary, and they had a little get together this weekend, and so I had to give a shout out. Now those guys, Herman, that graduated high school with me, they don't know that your Baine and Leroy Baine are the same Baine.
I know a lot of people they don't know. They didn't realize that.
Hey,
I see some of your classmates. Hey, are you the kid of that Leroy Baine? So I said, that's my father. Oh my goodness.
So when they see this, I said, this is Leroy Baine's son, Mr. Herman Baine, right? Yeah. Your dad was one of the toughest men that I know. So I know how your household was growing up as a kid. Because he was no joke. He didn't play.
No.
He didn't play.
But Bobby, I came through. I didn't deviate.
Absolutely. Straight and narrow.
Right now. Hey, guys, hey, you have this? You say, no.
Well, man, let's chop it up a little bit. Let's talk about Delray for you growing up as a kid? You know, because my generation, you know, we all played with the Delray Rocks, and of course there was no Delray Rocks when you were a kid in Delray. So how did football came about for you in the community, and how did you start playing football?
Football came along because it was a community thing. Carver High School was a community thing. You know, everything was around the school, school and churches.
Right.
And then and we played on Thursday night because we had to share the football field with Delray Beach High and St. Seacrest at that time.
Seacrest, right.
So we shared the field. So we played on Thursday night and they played on Friday nights when we played at home. Okay.
Wow.
So what happened is that everyone went out to play for anybody in Delray. You could have stole the whole city out there that night. Wow. Everyone was at the game.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And when we went away, you could almost everyone from Delray followed us.
Wow, man.
I mean, wherever you were, they came, most of that. And so you came up with it, and you had uncles and cousins, and all of them was good football players. Some were great football players. And you said that's what I want to do. So we played more like we call sandlot.
Sandlot, right.
Yeah, you know, my community against other communities. You know, I lived on the Red Line. You had people live in Frog Alley, Newtown, the sands up there where your father and them lived. and so we would meet at least once a week, and we play against each other.
Right.
With no equipment,
no gear.
I'm surprised nobody got hurt out there, and we'd be tackling.
Absolutely. Well, see, a lot of people when you think about Delray, right, and we're just talking about the Black community of Delray.
Yeah,
I mean, we got little pockets. You know, when I came along, you know, of course, it was still Frog Alley. You know, it was Jefferson Manor. It was Poinciana Heights.
Yeah,
it was Carver. It was Carver Park. Yeah. You know. And even we give the guys on Southwest 6th Avenue between Atlantic and First Street, right? Yeah. We call them the City Boys because they're right across the street from the pool room.
Okay.
You know, Georgetown Tavern was right down the street. so we call them the City Boys. Yeah. But in all those pockets, we had a lot of great football players, and it was so good competing in the street in different neighborhoods.
Yeah, we came ready-made. You know, in our days, we ready-made. I mean, there was a coach up at Roosevelt named Marshall. Went to Florida A&M.
What's Marshall?
And Marshall, he was there for years. And he said, if I had the players that y'all had down there, I would win the state championship every year.
Every year.
I've never seen a little town like that have such, I mean, year after year.
Year after year, man.
And, you know, and he talked to us one time when we saw him in the store up there. He said, I never seen a group of athletes as good as your football players coming out of Delray.
No doubt.
And we had a reputation throughout the state now.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We had a reputation. We was a small community, and we didn't have, you know, we had, I guess on that day, we might have had about 33 players. If we were lucky, around 33. Right. And the last 22 of them were dressed the same. The other 11 had to have on a blue jersey and white pants. So we didn't have enough equipment to supply them all.
Wow.
But Coach Pompey would put them in the game, let them play. Yeah. So when you look at community, and I would tell you, the white community supporters, they came out because they, you know, hey, they know great football.
Right. It's a different football.
Different football. I mean, fast, and you know, everything you would look for, you would see it.
Right.
And these other teams coming out of Miami that we was playing in Fort Lauderdale. So it was a great experience. I mean, even though it was a Black community, the white community did come out and support us 100%.
Well, you know, that's special because you know when you say that, of course they watch you guys play because they saw a different breed of ball. Yeah. But that's one of the things that was one of the takes that I got reading Mr. Pompey's information that he put out on you guys. Like on one of the first pages of this. I'm quite sure you got this, Herman.
Yeah.
Mr. Pompey put this together.
Yeah.
In 1978, I think y'all had a function.
Yeah, the function.
And he really just shared the history of Delray and talked about the white community, how involved they were in Carver High's story. And so it was a great feel from a small community.
It was a great feel. I mean, we were, and the doctors, I mean, we was the first because they had a few white doctors who would see us for injuries and so forth like that.
Okay.
In that time, most of the time you couldn't go into place, but we were athletes.
Wow.
And I remember that.
Wow, that's special. And, and it serves well when we integrated, and when those of us who in Delray, who were on the south side of Atlantic, we all went to Atlantic Avenue. We all went to Atlantic High School, which was in Old Seacrest. And we never had issues. We never had issues, rioting issues. Of course, you're gonna have some run-ins somewhere, but on a major standpoint, we didn't have any major issues up there integrated. And the fact that in 1964, Yvonne Odom, or Yvonne Lee at the time, integrated Seacrest.
Yeah.
And so before 1970 came, when we truly integrated, they already had African Americans on the campus at Seacrest.
Yeah. Sports bring cities together.
That's right. That's right.
And I'll say football and basketball, but football more.
Right. Yes.
It brings communities together, and you forget your differences.
That's right.
On a team, it's a teammate, and so it's one of the good things about our community and the country. Sports do bring us together, and we forget our differences for a time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. And then when I know for me growing up, when I started playing organized ball with the Delray Rocks, at that time it was predominantly white organization, right?
Yeah.
Most of my teammates were white. It was like a handful of us. And then by the time I left, though, we didn't see that many out there.
No.
But yet and still, and even within the Black community, the differences in people, and that you come together for that common goal. And you got men, young men like Bump Mitchell and Red Odom, who was coaching at the time, man, giving us the real stuff. And so, I mean, we were real blessed to have that opportunity to play with the Rocks and go from there. Well, one of the things about Delray, though, even when I look at the list of players that's on this in these documents that Mr. Pompey put together, when I just read these names, I mean, he got on this one page here, Herman, he's talking about the stars, the guys who all made all conference, all state, whatever. And he lists them by position. And it started with the quarterbacks with Bill Condrey.
Right.
Slick Baine.
Yeah, my uncle.
That's your uncle. That's right. He was a bad dude, man.
He
was a bad
dude. I mean, in today's environment, he'd been in one of those big universities.
He'd been one of those guys, right?
Yeah. He was all-around athlete.
Right. And then we look at Bump Mitchell.
Yeah.
And then after Bump was Dusty Evans. And then we had Lenny Jones and then Herman Baine. Yeah. And so you had a lot of guys before you that you had a chance to see play. Now, for you, who out of these guys right here, who was the guys that you really looked up to? Was your uncle?
Well, I'd say my uncle. I knew I was real small, but we used to go to the games,
right?
And I used to see him, and I mean, he was fast. I mean, Bobby, he was your size now.
Oh wow!
But he was had a little more weight on it. I guess maybe he might have been. I'm going to stretch it at 160, 65.
Okay, all right. He was small.
But he was an outstanding, passer because he was a great baseball player.
Okay,
not good one, a great one.
A great one. Okay. All right.
And so I looked up to him, and he set the bar pretty high for me there.
Yeah, absolutely. I Absolutely.
Hey,
But see, Herman,
everybody, hey, you probably say Slick. I said, no. I'm Herman.
but see, here's the thing that's so good about this sport, or any sport for that matter. It's the guys before you that inspire you, right?
Yeah.
And when you looked at him play, you wanted to be like him, or you want to be better than him, and then you got your chance, and you work your magic, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many guys like that, because see, when I grew up, the only person I ever saw play quarterback was Anthony Penn, right?
Yeah, that was.
So Anthony Penn was the bar for me, right?
Yeah.
And so I watched, I go, man, that guy's, he's, I never saw you play. I never saw Buck Mitchell play. I never saw anybody play but Anthony Penn. But he inspired me so much that I tried to, when I was in high school, people know my Anthony Penn story. I tried to be just like him. But you can never be like nobody.
No, you got to be yourself.
Well, that's going to always come out. Yourself is going to always come out, right? Because we were different athletes.
Yeah. Dustin Hibbins was another one, because I knew him, quite well off the field as well. So Dusty, on the field, he was outstanding quarterback.
Yes.
And I would say between my uncle and then probably Dusty.
Okay. All right. Okay. But man, there's some athletes here. And then after you, Herman, we had your brother-in-law.
Oh, he was outstanding.
They say he was something. Sonny
he was outstanding. My brother was outstanding. He was outstanding. I didn't see him play. He played. Used to come in when, after we
after y'all, right?
Yeah. And then the next year he took over after I graduated. But the next 2 years he was outstanding quarterback.
Yes. Well, Anthony Penn said he was a guy who he looked up to. He
was good. I think during his year it was like they went 10-0. Yes. They went 10-0.
Yes, they did.
But what had happened, Bobby, they had broken a lot of the schools up. That's when the schools started breaking up. In other words, everyone in Pahokee used to go to Belglade.
That's right.
Then they had you call it East Lake and all that. So they started breaking up the schools, and down in Dade County, from Northwest and Booker T, it started to have North Dade. So what happened is that the schools started breaking up, so the power was moved out. So
right.
It was a little easier, and just like in your day, they had so many schools.
Right, exactly.
If you still had Carver, all that, you guys, I don't know, nobody ever would have won a game out there, but y'all.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And we talk about that all the time. Joe Chaney is a year ahead of me, so we're pretty much the same age. We played together, youth ball together, and then they went to Boca.
Yeah,
Boca had a ton of athletes that we were all been together. Atlantic kids and the Boca kids would have all been together, And I'm telling you, we would have had to dress 100 back then. There was so many guys.
If all of you was at Atlantic, you'd have been hard to deal with.
It'd have been hard to deal with. And then even after Sonny, we had Sam Kendrick.
Kendrick got a boy. Kendrick, he came. I knew of him, but I didn't know him.
You never got a chance
to
see
tell me how that he was a good quarterback.
Right, and then after that, you had Oswald Baldwin.
I know Oswald was a excellent quarterback.
Yes.
Fast. Oswald was tall.
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 Yeah.
So Oswald, and Oswald had good character too.
Yes.
On and off the field, he's a very principled. So even in high school,
yes,
I stepped because his brother and I, Benny and Brookie and all of us, we were like brothers.
Right.
Just like brothers. I spent more time in the house than spending in mine.
Right. Exactly.
So, Oswald was he was a good character guy, and he was a leader.
They
followed him.
Right.
And I think during the Oswald time, they went undefeated too 1 year.
They went undefeated with him as well, right? Yeah. They went undefeated. But I tell you, man, our football program, has been great. And even to this day, you know, I don't keep up like I used to, but you know, I'm not surprised when I cut the TV on and there's a kid from Delray playing at Iowa State. You know, we got a kid from Delray playing, you know, all over the country. I mean, they're all over the country. And so I think about, if I remember right, Herman, I'm gonna say about, because when my boys came out, my son got drafted in 2014. So right about 2008 to 2012, yeah, we had about 14 kids from Delray in the league, in the NFL playing football.
Yeah, they were there. It was a whole bunch of them.
Right, a whole bunch of them, man. And so, you know, it hadn't stopped. But like you say, one of the problems that we do have now is the fact that you have so many schools.
There's so many schools now. You just break it.
Yeah, so many
You know, Atlantic still have good teams, but they meet Aquinas all the way in the region, and Aquinas is like a college team down there.
Yeah.
And they got the pro players, you know, helping them coach.
They take their kids there.
So
right, exactly.
It's not that they're better, but they better skills they'll
Better
talk.
skill, right.
And at the end of the day, you know, just the way you blocking, you know, angle block makes a little different for the back to get through there.
It makes a big difference. And then when you got five
Atlantic, I think they got eliminated again by Aquinas.
They did. They went home early this year.
But you know, you got to say you got eliminated by the best.
Oh, absolutely. And think about it, Herman. We're still talking about South Florida.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of great talent in South Florida. You know, we talk about Delray, but man, when you start talking about Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, all the pockets in Fort Lauderdale, man, it's some guys. And then, of course, Miami is going to always be loaded because they got the population.
They got the population.
Right. They got the population. So,
Northwestern still, Northwestern is
still they're still strong, man. They're still strong.
They're still tough.
They're still strong.
Even with all them breaking all, they're tough.
So Herman, let me ask you this. So when you played at Carver, when you were leading them and you were behind the center, who was the guy? Who was your running back? Was it Tippy Jones?
Cole Brooks.
Cole Brooks.
Cole Brooks out of outstanding running.
Now, he was from Boynton, right?
Would have gone to, in these days, University of Florida, Florida State,
right.
Big university, fast and shifty.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Johnny Miller.
Johnny Miller.
And I said, you remember I said Johnny Miller, man for man, pound for pound. Probably the best fullback ever coming out of Delray.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
He was a man among boys, and he wasn't that old. I mean, he was a young guy.
Right.
You know what? He started playing center, and we got in a game out in Belgrade, and we had one of my classmates, Murph, playing fullback, and boy, they was beating him up out there because they was big out there. And Bobby said, "Hey, we got to do something about this."
Right.
He said, "Miller. Get Miller in there." I said, Miller, Miller. From then on until he left school, he was after I left there.
Wow,
he was outstanding, and just you know what, he was a good person too.
That's good.
I know all these guys. You know,
that's good, man. That's good.
I like to play with you.
Hey, when you the quarterback,
yeah,
that's what you want to hear.
Yeah, that's what you want to hear. They'll follow you through a wall.
Exactly.
Win this game. And I would say Tippy Jones was a running back, but Tippy was fast and shifty, but he more was an outside runner.
Okay, all right.
He wasn't an inside tackle.
Right.
Because, as I said, Bobby, I used to call the plays.
Right. Man, that's awesome.
I mean, Coach Pompey was sending the plays sometime if he wanted something. Send someone in. But I call the plays because what we call them skull sessions.
Right.
We used to have the night before the game. At his home. The quarterbacks and the captains.
Okay.
We go out there and we spend about a couple hours out there going through all the defenses and the offenses and so forth.
Right.
And they said, man, here's the tactic we're going to take and so forth. So I knew the game plan.
Right.
That's the way we used to play in those days.
Right.
And Tippy Jones said, Herman, let me get it. I said, well, let's get you to the outside there.
Right. We'll get you out there.
I never say anything bad. I said, let me get you to the outside there.
Well, one of the things Herman, when you're a quarterback, you're the coach on the field, right?
Yeah.
And you really got to know the temperament of every one of your players, because at the end of the day, you want to motivate them to do their best. Yeah. Now if you have to talk sideways to them to get them going, well, you talk sideways to them.
Right.
But then most of them, especially skill position guys, you got to pat them on the back.
Yeah, you got to tap. Hey, you got to tap on the back.
Yeah, man.
And I mentioned to you, they were great. We had Grady Lowe on end.
Grady Lowe,
but we would use a lot of in arounds with him.
Okay.
Him and Moses McCray. They were big and fast.
Okay.
But as for, like, I played with Tucker.
Oh, wow.
I played with Scadlock. I wasn't on the first team then. I was probably the third team then.
They're ahead of you. They're ahead of you.
I was on the third team.
Third team then, yeah.
And so I've seen all these guys, coming through there. Mm-hmm. But if I look at who was probably one of the greatest football players coming out of there in my time, for all I've seen, it would be Grady Lowe.
Grady Lowe. Okay.
He had everything: big, fast, shifty, tough.
Wow.
And a great football player now. Outstanding strike guy.
Oh, was he? Grady was?
Oh, man.
Wow. Okay.
In the 100-yard dash, in those days, we didn't run the meter.
Yeah, 100 yards. Yeah, right.
Wow. And he's running below 9 on grass.
Oh, wow, man.
With no spikes. Barefoot.
Man. Hey, yeah. He run.
McCray was good. He was big and fast. Mm-hmm. But when I passed him, I want to be on the outside.
Right.
Don't let it slant him over the middle.
Right.
Like Grady, he'll go any place,
Any place.
And all of them had great hands.
Yeah, I like that, man. I like that.
Yeah. Tippy Jones had great hands too.
Who that? Tippy?
Yeah, great hands.
Wow.
He was a nice guy. All of them nice guys. But I understood the players I had.
Right, exactly.
But I think, Bobby, I tell you, I think we might have gone. In that year, we played 9 games. And my senior year, we were 6-3, I think.
Okay.
And the only reason, and we beat the top team, Gifford, at that time. Gifford was undefeated.
Right.
They had won.
Gifford area, yeah.
They had won so many games, and we beat them last game. We upset them.
Right.
We beat them. But the thing is that my whole left side of my offensive line couldn't play academics.
Okay, yeah.
So what I did, here I'm coming in, the summer. I done mapped out my mind.
Right,
exactly. And then I found out these guys didn't pass academic. And tough. So we got players. They were good players, but wasn't like I would say it was Bear Preston and Charlie Jones.
Right.
Charlie Jones was probably around 6'6", 230, 240.
Wow. He had nice
standing tackle. And Bear Preston was he was short. He was probably about 5'11", and probably about 205.
Okay.
But those guys could block.
Block, man. Yes,
when I lost, I didn't know what we was going to do. And
wow.
So those 3 games, we just couldn't match up.
Right.
Because, and we didn't get blown out. We losing by a point or a touchdown. But if we had those guys, would have made a difference.
We
made no excuses. We went on.
Right. Exactly. Well, I mean, when I think about this, this is crazy, right? Because when you think about the talent pool, right, in the all-black high schools, when you start talking about going north, Gifford, you play Fort Pierce, play Lakeshore. When you go south, you got Dillard. You got Northwestern. You got Carver, Miami.
Yeah.
So
they were in those days, called Miami was the top team in the
They
nation.
were the top
I mean,
team,
in the
right?
state.
Right. So
And
you talking about the competition within the black high school, bro? It was tough.
we went down there. They were undefeated. We went down the car. Their coach was Travis Powell.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a Travis Powell stadium down there now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, down there. And they were undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
And we went in there, and we was undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
But we were small Carver
Right.
against Carver.
Oh, against Carver. That's right.
We upset them jokers down
Uh-huh.
there. We couldn't get out. They rocked that. They tore that bus up. They rocked that bus up. hey. I think they would have rocked it, probably. and Coach Hurst was driving the bus, and Coach Powell, he had to come out there and stop him because he's got little car from there. We quit it there.
Hey, ain't nobody want none of us, man. Ain't nobody want none of us.
Hey, we came. We beat them, and then there was a team down in called Mays Ghouls.
Okay. In Miami?
Or in Miami.
Okay.
They were just they were outstanding. Yeah, Ghouls.
Ghouls down there.
Mays High.
Ghouls is down there near Piran, right?
Yeah, way down.
Almost way down there.
On the Keyway. We had to go way down to play, and we used to play them. They were outstanding. It was like, so all those players, I don't know where those kids go to school now down there. Mm-hmm. We got so many schools.
Yeah, got so many schools.
But I tell you, it's just outstanding players all over the place there. The Dillard had two brothers down there called the Gray Brothers.
Okay.
Running back, both of them ran the 100 and the 220.
220.
Both was running 109, but they had a track down there. Okay. We went down the track. We had to borrow track shoes. Used to that. But because they had the regional track down there.
Right.
They were short and fast. I don't know what college they went to.
Right.
And as I told you once before, when I went to Kentucky State, we went down to play Southern. Mm-hmm. And Southern was a top school like A&M and Grambling.
Oh, yeah, Southern was big time.
And A&T, they was getting athletes. I went down there. The whole team was from Lincoln Park Academy in Fort Pierre. Hey, Herb, we gonna run you out here today. You ain't in Delray. Oh boy! Hey, you know what they did?
Hey,
let us out of there.
Hey, and that's the problem too. When you go to college and you run into some of your homeboys, they play harder.
They play harder.
They ain't gonna let you forget. Hey, I ain't forgot about you.
They say, "Here we come, Herb.
Here we come.
Hey, here we coming." I said, "Oh my gosh!" They were loaded. I said, "I can't believe it." They had a guy named Turk Red.
Turk Red.
He can't do that today. He used to take football and flip, but they had like this here. But they was loaded with talent from Florida.
Oh man. Well, think about it, man. I tell people this all the time. I mean, even today, I tell somebody, if you see a kid playing for Wisconsin and he lead the nation in rushing in college, I said, just check and see where he's from. He might not be from Wisconsin. He might be from the state of Florida.
That's right.
Because I find that a lot now. There's a kid who played at Iowa State. I can't remember the kid's name. He was from Miami. He was like a 3-star. Wasn't a so-called big time player. He went to Iowa State and led the nation in rushing. College and the whole NCAA led the nation in rushing back-to-back years. Rushed over 2,000 yards. And they said, "Where did this kid come from?" Look, he's from Miami. So I tell them because we everywhere.
Yeah, that top running back for out of Alabama, he played with Tennessee now.
He's from Florida.
Even from North Florida up there.
Yeah, he's from Jacksonville area.
I said, how in the world Florida State and Florida let him get out of that guy? I mean, he was a man among.
Oh man, listen, I saw him play in high school. He played against. They came up here in Georgia and played this school called Beaufort High School, and Beaufort is one of these schools up here that they win state every year, right? Yeah. And they got a great football program. And he came up here, man. I was like, man, that dude, the running back, he should be offensive tackle or something, right?
Yeah.
A man amongst boys, man.
So you have a lot of great athletes, and Atlantic still have a lot of good. I don't know, a lot of them,
right.
I probably went to school with them, and the grandparents or something.
Right. Something
their
like
children.
Right.
And sometimes you know the names, and sometimes that's someone's grandson.
Right.
But
Exactly. Exactly.
they still have good teams out there.
Well, they got. Well, we can always have great athletes in Delray.
They still have good teams out there. They probably they line up to have another good team this year.
This year, absolutely. I believe they will. I believe they will. So
I go out there to give scholarships. My fraternity every
awesome.
year we give academic scholarships, a couple of them.
That's cool.
To students.
Okay.
And one time we had an athlete in there. He was getting a scholarship. You don't need that money.
No, he don't need that money, man.
Yeah, but he was a good student.
He's a good student, right?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I can say about if you're a Division I kid in particular, man, they take care of those kids so well in school. The whole time I was in college, and I felt like I never needed money in my pocket because I had 3 square meals a day.
Yeah.
There were 2 other places I can go eat for free. I can go to the movies for free, right? Yeah. And so I didn't have to pay room and board. I just had to go to school and play football.
Well, Kentucky State, in those days it was, we were NCAA, but the second level.
Right.
And but like you said, I had 3 meals a day.
Absolutely.
I had room and board. I never heard anything. And if that one thing, I could go ask coach for something.
For something, right? Right.
I never was hurting that much.
Right. For anything. Right.
For anything like that.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Football gave me a way out of Delray to make a better life for myself and my family. Absolutely. I owe it to football. I owe a lot to Coach Parpay giving me that, and my coach. I would say my coach is Taylor and Stovall at Kentucky State, giving me that opportunity. So I owe them a lot in football. I have aches and pains like anyone else,
right?
But I never had a major injury,
right?
Right. But I think football, if you do it right, it builds character.
A lot of character, no doubt.
Teamwork
and respect for each other.
You got to do it as a team.
Yes.
You might have one superstar, but you do it as a team.
Yeah, you got to do it as a team.
So I owe a lot to football. I owe a lot to Delray, giving me the support they gave me. The people in the community, they see you on Saturday. You was almost, in those days, you're almost like a rock star.
Right, exactly.
I'm telling you.
That's right.
You was almost like a rock star. Even when I went to Boynton, I remember, you remember Ed Harris?
Oh, yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, Ed Harris. Ed Harris said, I heard that, when someone said, hey, there's a guy, that's Herman Baine. He said, I was a little kid. That's that guy. He told me that. I said, I didn't even think nothing of it.
Right. Exactly.
But we were treated it. But it never went to my head.
Right. Exactly.
It never went to my head.
Right.
I went to church.
Yes. Yep.
I treated everybody, daughters as ladies because I had a sister.
That's right.
So I never, someone said, hey, Herman, he all that goody good shoes. I said,
no, hey, everybody got their stuff now. but Herman, you were raised by great parents, and one of the things,
my mother and you ask your father and his sister were the best of friends.
Yes.
You weren't born then.
Well, no.
You weren't born then. But as aunt, she died long before you was born.
Yes.
And her and my mother, Richard, your father said, I got pictures of them together. He keeps saying, I'm going to give you the pictures. I ain't got the pictures yet. I said, you don't want to get rid of those pictures.
Hey, I tell you right now, you better go to the house and get them pictures, man, because ain't no telling where they are. There's no telling where those pictures are.
It was great athlete. I played with all of them. And quarterback, they looked up to it, ball.
Oh, absolutely.
If you played that, they didn't expect for you to be doing what the guy playing right guard doing?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Right.
Because you lose respect, and you can't go in that huddle.
That's right. You got to command
call it plays and say we got to do this or that.
Right.
And they got to look and say, "That's my guy."
Hey, listen, man.
I think that's true. That's why Brady is successful.
That's why, we just had this conversation this past weekend, and I was telling them how much I admire quarterbacks in the league that stand up, and you know that they're taking authority in the huddle, and all the players follow this guy. They got to follow somebody. Yeah. Like, he's got to be the ultimate leader on that football field. He's got to be an extension of the coach.
Yeah, there's a lot of great ones up there.
Man, what you talking about?
I
admire guys like that. So now, Herman, now when you left Carver, you left as a quarterback.
Right.
When you were in Kentucky State, they moved you to defensive back, correct?
Yeah, defensive back. I played defensive quarterback sometimes because they had something called a wild card. I don't know. When I went to college, they didn't have the platoon system. But my second year, it was a wild card. In other words, you can only 1 or 2 players can come in. The rest of them had to stay on the field.
Oh, the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
You never heard of that?
Okay.
It was a wild card. So, and I was a safety. Coach Stovall, they said we had cadre of quarterbacks, and I was in there, and I came in there, and they came out of a losing season. I led them to their first victory.
Wow.
As quarterback.
Wow.
And then the coach said, "Hey, we need your leadership on the defensive side." So I went over to safety, and I played safety there, and I was the captain.
Right. Wow.
Wow. So, and once in a while, coach always still had us, even though you take snaps. You know how you take snaps.
Right.
Just in case.
Just in case, right.
Just in case.
Exactly.
And I sometime I had to take snaps and so forth. So,
man, that's awesome, man. You know what? I would have given anything to take a snap in college, man. But I understood when I left, I didn't go to school because, during my time, that's when the Division I schools started to recruit us.
Yeah.
And all that stuff I did on offense at Atlantic High School didn't mean anything to the Division I school, right? And then I knew long term that I wouldn't get an opportunity to play quarterback. If I got a shot to play in the NFL, I was not going to get that opportunity. Yeah. So the good thing was in high school at Atlantic, I played both ways.
Yeah.
I played safety. And so in my senior year, I just had this crazy year, man. They kept throwing the ball at me. I don't know why they kept throwing the ball at me.
Yeah.
And here I am, a 9,500-yard dash guy, and I'm playing strong safety. So I'm pretty much covering a tight end, Herman.
Yeah.
And they keep throwing a 5-yard out. I keep picking off and going to the end zone with it, right? And I kept saying to myself, they're going to stop running that pass pattern. And the next week, they'll throw that 5-yard out. I'd pick it off again, go to the end zone. So I ended up having like 7 interceptions, and I put 6 in the end zone my senior year. So, of course, everybody recruited me to play defense. And in high school, I played next to a guy. He's a year ahead of me. You know who he is, a guy named Mo Wesley.
Yeah.
And he was such a great athlete. I saw him play corner, and I go, man, I could never do that. That's what I used to tell myself. I could never do that because he was such a great athlete. And then when I go to Florida State, I never played safety. I played corner the whole time, not thinking I was good enough. But I had the athleticism to do so. I had the speed and the ability to stick with guys.
Well, we had when I was going to say we had a lot of in those days 9'8" guys, 9'6" guys playing the corners. And I'm sitting back there and they let Baine play safety back there.
Hey,
but because I could cover quick, I can cover the field quicker than I was quicker than they were.
Right, exactly.
Difference.
And you were a quarterback. And you were a quarterback.
And I anticipate what's going on.
Right, absolutely.
So I never anticipated that I'll be playing defense when I went to college. So it was a transition,
right,
for me to learn that, to come down. So I had to get my whole thinking together.
right.
Okay, on that. And but I would say Coach Stovall, he did such a great job, and I spent a lot of time going over defenses with him and at night and so forth. And I had mastered that thing down.
That's cool.
Because I was calling the defenses.
Right.
What we're doing. So it was an enjoyable experience.
Oh man, it's not like it. It's not like it. It's not like it.
Nothing like it. I played with a lot of great players. I didn't mention one guy that played tackle. His name was Italy Quince. He had a lot of brothers.
Oh man, the Quince family.
He had a lot of sons that played. They were his sons.
Okay. Wow.
His son. He was an outstanding tackle. And he ran the 440 also, and he ran around a 48.
Wow.
440 and playing tackle.
Playing tackle.
He was a health. He was a health buff.
Right.
His life went off on a different turn.
Yeah.
But other than that,
wow.
Still when I see him, before he died, he was good people.
Good people, yeah.
He was good people.
Well, everybody in Delray, the community is so small. We all like family, right?
Yeah.
And if we really start to count and pay attention, all of us might be some kin.
Well, you have to watch it.
You have to watch it. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's your cousin. My cousin. I remember you don't know my youngest son. He was a baby when you was through there.
Mark?
Mark.
Yeah, I know. I don't
Mark,
know. Like
Mark had that, and Gary said, "No, that's your cousin there." He said, "What?" She had graduated from the University of Miami. She was a lawyer, and I didn't even know it was their cousin.
Right. Wow.
Mark said she.
Man, you have to be careful, man. I almost got caught up that way.
Yeah.
And I should have known better because her last name was Weatherspoon.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But man, I saw she's a year younger than me, man, and I was in high school, man. I told my mom, I said, "Mom, this girl, I called her name," and my mama said, "You can't date her." I go, "Why?" She said, "That's your cousin." I go, "She ain't no kidding me."
Yeah.
We laugh about that today, Herman. We laugh about that today, man. Because
it's a small community, so
it's a small community. So you
have to be careful.
You have to be careful. You have to really know. Right? So
listen, Bobby, sports in general. When I'm gonna talk about it, women do the same thing, but it brings men together. Football brings them together.
Yes.
Camaraderie.
Yes. Yes.
And it's people you would never forget.
That's right.
Some guys maybe not successful in life, but they were good friends.
Good friends. That's right.
And and if they really, you run into them, they're really in trouble. If you can help them, you help them.
You help them, right? Absolutely. It's a brotherhood.
It's the Christian thing to do.
Right.
If you call yourself a Christian.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's what I've done in my life. I've been very successful monetarily.
Yes.
I don't measure everything on wealth.
On wealth, right.
Income, but so I'm able to do those things. And if I don't do it, I think of the less as a person. How could I have been a quarterback with these guys? And someone said they need some help and so forth.
Right. Exactly.
I remember I used to go up and speak to the University of Florida football team. He used to bring me because I knew a guy up there who finished him there, Dr. Herrera. I used to work together. And I remember I was going to work one morning. I was working at IBM. And I so happened I pulled into the store right on the corner of Atlantic and Congress.
Okay.
And I saw this guy there. He looked like he was getting in trouble. I said, "Hey, aren't you son?" He's a big tackle, Duhart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Miss Bain, I'm having problems. I said, Duhart, don't you get in trouble.
Right.
I don't know how much money I had in my pocket.
Right.
I reached and gave him all the money. I
Yeah,
said,
all you
you
had.
don't
Right.
back to Belgrade.
Exactly. Wow.
You don't need this.
You don't need this. That's right. That's right.
I don't know how much cash I had in my pocket.
Right.
I said, you take this.
Right.
You get on back to Belgrade. Don't get in trouble
Don't
here.
get in trouble. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
thank you, Mr. Bain.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's what you do, man. That's what you do.
Hey, if I just went by and done nothing, and then I
Mhm.
hear something happen,
Mhm.
I couldn't live with myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And sports, camaraderie, and
Mhm.
helping. I help other people too, but
Mhm.
athletes.
Right.
That's important.
Right.
And I hate to see, they better now than they used to. They get
Mhm.
how to manage their money.
Mhm.
Our athletes, make millions of dollars.
Oh, that's right. Mhm.
And the worst thing in the world, because, I taught college
Mhm.
for a while, and taught economics, and
Mhm.
it's a nightclub. And I said, nightclub is a losing business.
It's a losing business, man.
It's a losing business.
Yes.
And I said, because it might good for 4 or 5 years, it goes down.
Yeah.
You draw the wrong element.
There you go.
I don't care how good a person you are.
Yeah, it's gonna be in there. That's right.
And I try to tell one of my friends that.
Mhm. That's right.
It's good. It's
not gonna last.
But that's the nature
of the
business. Industry.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly.
And they call that.
Mhm.
They call it monopolistic competition.
Mhm.
It's not a retail business.
Yeah, that's right.
And I said, and every time athletes say, get him a nightclub, I said, oh my God, somebody catch him.
Somebody help him.
Invest in the stock market.
Right.
He's a lot better with the stock market.
With the stock market, right. Exactly. Oh my God.
Hey, but now the athletes are getting better advice.
Yes.
From other athletes who've gone through it. And now they're taking care of their money because it's a long term, and your family, you invest it and so forth. And you don't have to take $1 and make it $4 million.
$4 million. Exactly.
Make it $1,000 just to make it simple.
There you go. There you go.
And in the long run, you got something to do.
You got something to hold on to.
And that's the only thing but I say these modern athletes, they seem, a lot of them, most of them, I don't say all of them, have their heads screwed on right about their finances.
Right, exactly. Well, and also, the NFL has taken responsibility in some of that by, bringing people around to talk to them on a regular basis, and they're doing that. And then, like you say, when you got a couple buddies or some friends or some teammates who've made it, you can hear some of the things that they've done, and that always helps.
Yeah.
One of the things Coach Bount used to let us do when I was playing pro ball, he would always bring us back to the school to speak to the team. Because most of those guys are all dreaming of playing on Sundays. And so he would do that, man. We would go and speak to the team all the time. And primarily my conversation would be about money.
Yeah, that's what
the do's and the don'ts about money, right? And so anytime I can help somebody, give them some good advice, I'm going to do so. But real quick, Herman, we're about to come to an end. When you go to Kentucky State, what did you major in school?
I majored in social science.
Okay.
And with emphasis in social science. Economics is a social science.
Okay.
It's in the it's taught a lot in the business department. And so forth. People think it's a bit, but it's a social science.
Okay. And then when you came out, you immediately what do you do then? You go straight down?
I went to Buffalo.
Okay.
Bills.
Right. You went to the Bills, right?
I had a couple of good meals.
All right, now hold on. Let's stop right there. Let's talk about it. Now, I'm gonna ask you, because I know back in the old day, we had a couple guys from Delray who had opportunities to play in the league. You were one. Bubba Tucker was another one.
He was drafted.
Okay. Bubba Tucker was drafted by the Steelers, if I'm not mistaken.
Cannonball was sort of long at that time.
Cannonball Butler was drafted as well.
Yeah.
Out of Edwards Waters. by the Steelers, correct? By the
Cup was
Steelers as
drafted by
well.
the Steelers.
And so the three of you guys were the three guys
Yeah.
that had an opportunity to play pro ball.
Yeah.
And I would say this too, in those days, it was harder to make it in those days than it is in current day.
Oh yeah, it is. I sit down and at my brother-in-law, I said, but you know what? I'm glad for these young men.
Oh, absolutely.
They didn't have to do what we had to do.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I tell you, and I'm gonna make this quick. My last year at Carr, for the last 2 years, we had good teams, like I said, but it wasn't enough money in the conference to have conference players.
Right.
I went to Kentucky State my senior year. That senior year, I graduated the year there was a recession.
Ah, okay.
And there was a recession. And Vietnam War was heavy. They didn't even select all conference players in the conference.
Wow.
So we was at a disadvantage to the NFL.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Dallas Cowboys had sent a lot of scouts doing there in our junior year, and they had a lot of interest in us. Okay, but how you going to compete where not only division schools, but schools like Grambling, when they was giving you, where they had their
absolutely, it was a different deal, right?
A&M, they had their conference championship, and SAIC, I think. So it was. I was fighting a disadvantage there, but so it happened I was picked up as a free agent, coming in, and but I went there. Cookie Gilchrist was there.
Oh man. Hey, you had some guys up there now.
Jack Kemp.
Oh, Jack Kemp, yes, sir.
Darryl LaMonica, who just came in with me. He just died a few years ago.
He just died, yeah, not long ago.
And they were,
man.
They had won the AFC championship the last 2 years when I went there. So trying to break in what problem I had.
Hey, listen, I tell people all the time, you got to understand, when you're a rookie and you go on one of these pro teams, rookies, every rookie's not going to make the squad.
Nope.
Most of those jobs going to be kept. Most of those jobs going to be kept by veteran players.
That's right.
They may add a couple of y'all on there, but everybody's not going to make that squad.
No.
Right.
I don't care what.
So now I wanted to be clear.
Ability is important, Bobby, but it's not everything.
Right. That's right.
Ability is everything. Is being at the right place at the right time.
You said a mouthful right there. I mean, I've seen it happen. I've seen one of my teammates. He was an undrafted free agent, the Falcons, in 1986. And he came from a family that were educated family. And so he wanted to get out of school early and start his pro career, right? So in other words, he was not going to finish school on time. His dad sat him down and said, son, I ain't got no money to send you to school. So you better get all this school free while you can. So he never came to a mini camp. He never did anything. He graduated. First time we saw Robert was in July in training camp. We never saw him in the all-season workout or nothing. He showed up, undrafted free agent from Northwestern State, Louisiana. Herman, I can't remember what happened, but all I can tell you about game one, he was a starting strong safety next to me. And he started for the next 4 years before we changed coaching staffs. But he was at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, that's important.
Right place at the right time. And one of the most intelligent guys I ever played football with.
Well, when I used to speak at University of Florida, I did that for about 3 years up there. They used to fly me in and do that. And I said, hey, try to be a good student and a good athlete.
Yeah.
Less than 1% of the athletes make the NFL.
That's right.
I mean, as a free agent, drafted, whatever, and stay there. That's less than one. So however you get there, you are very unique.
Very unique. That's right.
Very unique. Don't ever think people, it's not as easy as people think it is.
Well, let's think about it, Herman. Think about it. There are like 1,600 jobs in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Okay. You think about the state of Florida. I don't know how many colleges you got, but you got at least 10.
Yeah.
You know, that play football. You got FAU, FIU, you got South Florida, you got Central Florida, you got Florida State, you got Florida, you got Miami. That's 7 right there. You got Bethune-Cookman, that's 8. You got FAMU, that's 9. You know, so you got at least 10 schools playing football, right?
Yeah.
Each team got over 100 players. All right. So you do that math right there. 10 schools times 100, right? So we got 1,000 players, right, in the state of Florida. So now you go by each state. Let's say each state got the same amount, but you only got 1,600 jobs in the National Football League. So it's going to be a tough thing to make.
Yes, it's a tough. That's why I said get your education.
Get that paper, man.
Get paper. They can't take that away from you.
They can't take that away from you. I mean, absolutely.
I told man, I'm gonna get my 4 years. I'm gonna get mine.
You're gonna get yours, right?
Yeah, I went back one summer. I knew. I said I'd rather be home, but I'm gonna stay up here in these hills here.
Well, Herman, I'm gonna tell you one thing right now. I couldn't imagine you coming home without it, with Leroy Baine sitting in that house. Because I know he wasn't playing with them grades now.
Yeah, he's got the piece of. All he's got the piece of paper.
Hey, listen, man. I love your dad, man. Yeah, because I was always doing the right things at Atlantic. Right? Yeah. So I never got in trouble. Yeah. And so I used to send golf on kids. I had to turn my back and laugh sometimes, man, because he was serious, man. He didn't mess around. But hey, listen, real quick, I want to clear something up for the people. You said you had a free agent trial, not with the New England Patriots, but with the whom?
Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills. That's right.
And I re-signed. I stayed, and it was an All-American defensive player. I'll show you his name, Auburn from Ohio State. And he called me and said, "Herman, why don't you try with the Patriots? You can make that team." It was called the Boston Patriots.
The Boston Patriots back then, right?
So I got the they sent me a contract, and I was getting ready to go.
Right.
At the last minute that day, in those days, you used Western Union.
Right.
I told them, "I'm not going. I'm going on to grad school." They said, "What?"
Yeah.
My business, I tell you what, at the point in time, I said, "Look, I played this thing a long time. And I thought I should have made it at Buffalo, and I didn't. I didn't hold no regrets on that one.
Right.
So I said, you know what? I'm going on to grad school.
Right. There you go.
So, I never look back. And some of my brothers come back. They say I don't believe it. So I said, well, I keep it here. Here the 2 contracts. I said, these guys make this money in a day.
Oh man, what's it talking
about? A day, a minute.
In a meeting, right?
Yeah. I said, this they got free talent for nothing. They said, I can't believe that's all they was paying you. I said, that was it.
Well, I tell you, man, it's funny how the money. But think about it, Herman. When you came out, the money that they made, it wasn't really a lot to brag about. It wasn't a lot to brag about.
Gilchrist, I think they was talking about $100,000 a year was a big thing.
Oh, that was it, man. If you were making
Jim Brown was making when he hit that $100,000 mark later on, he made more than that.
Right.
But
hey, I remember
that was it. But with inflation and so you put all that together. Right. But still, it's not still you take inflation. It's not the money they make in a day.
It's not the money they make in a day, and so it's a different thing.
And I'm glad for these young men.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's an opportunity that they get a chance. It's an opportunity to do well, and if you do right with what you get,
you manage it properly.
The sad part about it is most 20 to 22-year-old young people, young men, have no clue about what to do with millions of dollars. And the first thing they do, they want to go out and buy this car, buy that car, and just go out and hang out and be a rock star that way, right?
Right.
And just throwing money away, right? As opposed to taking advantage of the opportunity to set their future up from the jump street. if you do that right up front immediately, I tell every kid, you get a signing bonus, don't spend a dime. Don't spend a dime on your signing bonus. That's your future money. Put that money aside for the future, right? And but you know how it is, man.
It's hard to tell them when they get that money.
Man, when they get that money. And then a lot of times, depending on where you're coming from, the parents be in such a rush to get money themselves that's a whole other story.
She's a relative on both sides. We got a cousin now, Coco
Golf. That's right.
Yeah, that's.
Well, she gonna be all right though.
Gary's cousin.
She gonna be all right.
That's right. And she, the way she going, she continues going. She ended up being a multimillionaire.
Oh, well, she gonna be that. She gonna be that. Sure.
Now, it's gonna manage your money, but you know how it is. She, young people are at a point in time they want to break away from.
They want to break away.
It just happens, and I don't blame her. They got to spread away.
Well,
she's going to do extremely well, and those women on the tennis tour tend to manage their money pretty good.
Pretty good.
But she's going to make it. And
she's going to make it.
There's another Delray person who made it.
There you go. Well, you think about her. I think about she already have a relationship with the Williams sisters, right? Who are older.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure they're speaking the right things into her life.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Oh,
hey. Her dad, I think, seemed to have a good business sense about things.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think she's gonna be fine.
She's gonna do well for herself.
She's gonna be fine.
I'm very proud of her. I don't say too much because I don't get involved.
All right, you don't get involved. But she makes us all proud. She makes us all proud. Well, look, Herman, man, thank you so much for your time. God bless you, and tell Carlos, Mark, tell them all. I got a chance to say hello to Gary.
Okay.
Tell them all. I know you got grandkids.
Yeah, I got two. I got one lived down in Fort Lauderdale and one over in St. Pete.
Okay.
He worked for some big firm over there.
All right, cool, man.
So he's doing okay.
That's good stuff.
She's doing okay.
Well, listen,
one of your sons was that with the Dolphins one time, right?
Well, he was. He's not playing anymore. He got 6 years in, Herman, and he was drafted by the Raiders in 2014. Yeah, played there 2 years. Got traded to the Cowboys. Played 3 years with the Cowboys. Had his time with the Cowboys.
Had some great times there.
Yeah, his time with the Cowboys. He did a great job, and then he left as a free agent. Went to Arizona, but he tore. He got that thing called where under his arch, what they call that thing, some fasciitis or something. But you got 3 bands under your foot that hold that arch up.
Yeah.
He ruptured 2 of the bands, and one band was just hanging on, and so he kept injuring that foot, couldn't get it well, and he didn't want to go have surgery and just cut it. It wouldn't. The third one wouldn't pop, and so in football, the best football player is one that's available, right?
That's right.
And so if you're not available, so he got 6 years in. He did well for himself, and now he's an influencer, and he's got a little golf podcast. Just go to YouTube and put in Bryce Butler.
Okay.
And he traveled all over the country, man. He's doing well for himself.
That's all that counts.
He's doing well for himself.
Yeah, one thing about, talk about more football, you always one injury from your career.
Hey, man, and you don't know what day it could be.
You don't know what day it is, what it is.
Exactly.
And you're fortunate to be able to walk away from that thing halfway healthy.
Absolutely.
And that's all, I can say, walk away with my brains and so forth.
Hey, man.
When we played, you know what the coach wanted to do?
What?
Not Stonewall, but we had one old crazy coach. You used to lead with your head.
That's what we did. That's how we played, right?
You wonder why.
Right.
These guys have all these problems.
Right.
So, but now, they sort of unbanned that to a certain extent.
Which
is the right thing.
Well, they're teaching how to tackle a different way.
Yeah,
you know what I said to it? They was calling all these different ways of tackling. I said, well, all you got to do is take off the face mask again, like they did back in the day. You take the face mask off, people going to tackle with their shoulder.
That's right.
I can imagine getting my big nose hit all the time like that.
That's right. That's right.
Well, hey, look, Herman, man, thank you again, man. God bless you. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you taking the time with me.
And everybody who watched the show, if you like the show, share it with your friends, comment on it, and like it. Go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Tonight, man, we were fortunate to have the great Herman Baine out of Delray Beach. Herman, thank you so much again, my buddy.
I appreciate it, Bobby.
God
Thanks
bless
a
you,
lot.
man. All right.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right, buddy.